Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fawzy Manaa, and I'm a technical lead with Deloitte. Very excited to be here with you today. And today I'm talking about the art of prioritizing DevOps. And yes, it is an art and not a science. And hopefully by the end of this talk, I'm able to convince you of that. So a little bit about me. I lead the DevOps Technology Lab at Deloitte, where we make and break stuff. I mostly do the breaking part. But that's OK, because the whole thing is about learning and feedback anyways. I'm also a strong believer in Agile DevOps, and I'll let you reflect on what that really means throughout my talk. Who's this for? So this is for individuals, teams, and organizations who are either not sure where to start, what to do next, or whether they're on the right track in their DevOps journey. So I try to capture a mix of all those aspects as I talk about all aspects of prioritization. So for the purpose of this talk, let's assume that you're starting all the way in the bottom left corner, and you aspire to be all the way up here on the top right quadrant of the page. And you don't want to take forever doing it. Wouldn't that be nice? And that's the frame of reference for the talk. So where do I start? So we're starting all the way from the bottom. There's many directions to go through. But the right question is, why are you doing DevOps? Are you doing DevOps because everybody else is doing it, or because you have a specific problem that or a broader problem that you're trying to solve? And I sure hope it is the latter, in the spirit of DevOps, that you're trying to solve a problem. So now that we agreed on that and acknowledged that there's a problem and a constraint to solve, we need to go find what that constraint is. And if you know it, great. If you don't, there's some tools to go and solve for that. And then once you find what your bottleneck is, you're going to go solve not just the technology aspects, but all the other aspects there as well. So what if my constraints are too big? Fawzy, I'm a big company, I'm a big enterprise, and my problems are complex, and that's fine, which means you have to understand what your dependencies are, right? So if you're doing test automation, maybe you have a more fundamental problem to solve there. If you keep trickling down with dependencies, you're going to find there's certain things that always need to be done, like version control, having a knowledge base, and having a solid collaborative culture and openness to feedback and collaboration throughout, or else nothing really will work that you end up working on. This is just one of the models of kind of having dependencies between some of these capabilities that you build, where it inspires some sort of order to the capability build or the practice build that you end up doing. So you're going about it in a more organized fashion. So now that you built the capabilities, you need to put it to use, right? It's not going to stand alone. Have you really socialized this with anybody? You built a shiny tool, a shiny object. Is anybody really coming for it? And if not, why not? Go find these pilot teams that are going to go prove your concept and provide you a learning opportunity. Find those willing partners who are excited to work with you and that are going to provide you the maximum amount of learning versus the ones that you know for sure are going to work, because those won't provide you that opportunity. Wow, we are now DevOps. Well, not really. We solved for the first constraint, so now it's about making it a well-oiled machine and taking on the next constraint, and the next constraint, and the next constraint. And that's how you end up really proving successes in a constant manner throughout. So this is what it really looks like. As you're building the cake up, you're really increasing your adoption set, if you will, and you're having teams pilot the previous set of capabilities, and at the same time, you're growing the adoption set, and you're growing your set of capabilities at the same time, versus waiting for the whole thing to be built up front. So how do I know I'm on the right track? Because Stone Cold said so. No. Because I'm a consultant. No. Well, how do I know I'm on the right track? Because I consulted my people, and I consulted my systems, right? So are you listening? The informal feedback. Are you asking questions, mechanisms of formal feedback from people? And are you actually measuring hard data from your systems and from business improvements that you were aspiring to improve from the very beginning when we were talking about the objective or the problem statement that we were after? So how do you find time to do all of this, right? So, I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff here. And the reality is, you need to go find supporters that are going to go on this journey with you, and instead of going at it alone. In addition, you need to find a way to not just wait for a big project to do some of these improvements and build some of these improvements gradually, and that, believe it or not, will inspire a bigger movement within your organization, because you'll have real momentum at that point. Finally, nothing will work if these two things are not present. I call managing the web death by 1,000 continuous improvement initiatives. So you need to really solve for that, or else you're not going to see progress from any of the improvement pieces that you did. And for the work intake, don't make it about who screams loudest. It needs to be an organized process about how you're taking on what it is that you want to work on next and how you're prioritizing. Some final pieces of advice about getting started and not waiting for everybody else to be on board before you do that. Stay connected. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions or would like to continue the conversation, please find me afterwards outside and hear my contact information. Thank you very much.